It's my mom. I'd like to do all three of you, other than wife, pipe, and be a friend. So I'd like to give you all something individually. So I guess I'll start with Bessie.
Start with Bestie.
Okay. Um, so Jordan. I really
To the side. Don't worry, it plays to be a bestie.
Wait a minute. Is this girl's channel? Did he just reject this girl on her own channel? Listen, this is a toxic patriarchy tactic of swapping your positive energy. Don't fall for it. And I see why, because you're way too thirsty. I mean, these are everyday blood, skin, bones, and tears, same as you. It's also a bit of humiliating energy of rejecting this girl who is so thirsty on her own channel. So that's also humiliation energies. So you just swapped with him. He friend zoned you? He friend zoned you on your own channel? If this is her channel, I don't know. This is my first time hearing about this girl, but if this is her channel, and he, literally friend zoned her. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. You can't be serious, Jordan Lucas. You got friend zoned on your own channel. And look, it's televised, so the whole world is going to join in on those humiliation energies. You may not feel humiliated. You may have just wanted the clout. But his projection of rejection, his projection of rejection and humiliation is why you should feel disrespected, because he did it on your channel. And he brought your soul. If you accepted that gift, listen, these so-called celebs, they have a lot of energy to give back. They're in a hefty debt zone with the great God, universal Allah. So they need every particle of positive energy that they could transfer through any physical exchange. They can transfer. Any physical exchange is equally an energy exchange. Universal law, as above, so below, as within, whatever is within, whatever energies are working within, materialize in your external reality. That is universal law. We are in a new age of Aquarius. So these individuals that are in hefty debt, according to their book of life, every thought, word, and deed that was recorded by the angels of the great God, universal Allah, every dirty deed that they did to get what they call fame, right? So you can call that a rap sheet, but it's a universal rap sheet. So the implications of it, to whom much is given, much is required, are far reaching beyond infinity. We have multiverses, so we don't know the impact of their debt. So beware. And anyone as thirsty as that to meet someone, you probably don't have a soul, but this is for the very elect who still have their pure positive life force energy, their divine blueprint scripted for them, and they are ready, awaiting to ascend into that divine destiny. This is for them. Beware if any old age, old eon, previous age, previous era of time, that was called the age of Pisces. A whole era of time went extinct, expired. But the records are still dissolving back to 0 point, back to neutrality, so that Mother Earth, this earth vessel, can be restored back to divine order. So these so-called celebrities, they have they have many books, because they created many entities. They also created a very, very huge energetic imprint on this earth vessel. It had, listen, every extremely low frequency has to be transmuted back to 0 point for the manifestation of a new earth. It shall be physical. Of the energy world is what materializes the physical. So we know this will be a whole different earth, meaning the aesthetics will be on a higher frequency because we are in a higher frequency operating. This earth is now operating from the positive polarity consciousness. That is the divine mind, the great God, universal Allah, is the supreme architect, engineer, uh, owner, operator of a new earth. So, this new earth shall look, this will be an upgraded earth, upgraded to the frequency which it is aligned with. And we know that the Schumann resonance on earth is raising towards light speed, towards the great God, universal Allah, towards the consciousness of the great God, universal Allah. So beware, very elect, if you have some so-called celebrity wanting to give you your kudos or wanting to exchange with you, whether that's an appearance, um, them appearing for you on one of your creations, them assisting you with anything, them giving you any gifts. Listen, the very elect, we ought to have our own contracts with anyone that we do business with, and it looks something like this. It's a light language track that, if dissolving dark contracts, toxic agreements, multidimensionally, anyone that that you have exchanged with, if it is not in your highest good, according to higher self, according to the great God, universal Allah, then it is null and void. Whatever fancy terms you want to use, however you want to word it, but you ought to have these contracts in place when you are doing any type of exchange. Now, mine is automated. See, I'm a new heir. I'm heir of this earth, right? The meek shall inherit the earth. I'm heir of this earth. I have special. Listen, I belong to the great God, universal Allah. All of these things that I am putting on the record, that it's in my default program. I've been working on trauma release work, shadow work, transmuting simulation after simulation, back to back to back, that all the simulations were designed by the great God, universal Allah, to bring up the trauma of my indigenous, native, melanated, whom the European cursed as black, Negro, four-legged animal, colored, painted, stained, dyed, varnished, African American or African, when we know that America is how many 200 and what years? So we were a nation. We were a nation before the pale skin oppressor murdered off our ancestors. So we're here. We're going back to our divinity. We're connecting back to these divine native ancestors, and we are becoming free because we're transmuting for them. It's what is it in the script? The basic instructions before leaving Earth. There's one to every bloodline. There's one to save their bloodline, and that just means you have the themes, the records of trauma from your collective bloodline lineage. It comes up in your vessel because you are on Earth and you are the one doing the transmutation. You are the one transmuting it back to 0 point, back to neutrality. That it's no more vibration of fear. It may be a memory, but there's no vibration of fear connected to it. That is what keeps the frequency of the planet low. And that is what keeps you from ascending back to the higher planes of life. So again, beware if you are doing contracts or doing deals with individuals that want to give you things. Any physical exchange, again, is an energy exchange. And you would have to be the reader of the heart, the mind, and intent of man to know what the purpose of that gift really is. Because if you sign any contract out here in the real world, it's fine print. It's fine print to that. We don't even see the fine print until it manifests. So again, it's a lot of karma. That's from your law of cause and effect. Every thought, word, and deed that was recorded for your vessel, it leads to the next thought, word, and deed that you take. You either go up or you either go down. You either ascend or you descend. If I think a negative thought, the next thought is going to be negative. And the next thought is going to be negative. Because negativity is a state of the mind. So if our mind is negative, then we will think negative. If our mind thinks positive, we will turn everything positive. Some of us are in between, and that's why we are working on self-mastery, Islam. I, self-law, am mastering these negative thoughts, these satanic thoughts, these lower self thoughts, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, pride of life, so that we can be in alignment with this Mother Earth, this new Mother Earth, who is raising her Schumann resonance. So beware of who you are doing physical exchanges with, because there is always an intent. There is always an energetic implication. I bought a soul. I didn't, of course I didn't tell you that, but if you accept this gift, if you accept this physical gift, well, this is what comes with it. And it's just transferring negative energy to another vessel, sort in a likeness of what Yahweh Shai did when he transferred the evil spirits into that swine vessel and sent the swine over the cliff. That vessel had to leave the earth so those energies could leave the earth. So again, if you're a vessel of the great God, universal Allah, and you don't have a channel to accept a negative intent from a gift, that's one thing. But if you do not even know about this, or you are not if you are not in this case, countersuing, divine court hearing and transfer the consciousness known as Drake. And we want to pull Drake's records on any or every, from any animate or inanimate of pure positive energy that this vessel is harvesting, past, present, and future timelines of this collective. Because as I disclose, universal disclosure, that these negative transfers, they are illegal. Using animal vessels, using human vessels, inanimate vessels, because this is a time of accountability. This is divine justice has arrived on the earth. So therefore, you account for your book of life, your thought, words, and deeds, and that's what you shall do. Because this is a new age, and this is about awareness and accountability. So we call it a divine court hearing and transfer. This obviously is from the vessel that is Drake 2, and from the vessel that is known as Drake, and transferring to whom IEYE, infinity, choose animate, inanimate, multidimensionally, and that proceeds. That concludes our proceeding. These records are getting pulled right now. I don't have to upload this, but again, this is disclosure, universal disclosure, and this is putting on the record for the very elect who, again, they did not sell their soul. They did not sell their pure positive life force energy for the material, for fame, and this and that. Now, when the veil has lifted and they realize their power and they can put their own independent creations out, there are charlatans that have sold their soul to Satan to get the fame and the material. And now this is Infinity Wars. They are looking for souls to take on their debt that they created through their book of life. Um, that is a game of sin, and whoever goes the furthest is required. To whom much is given, much is required. Satan is the chief copycat of the great God universal Allah. That is Satan. The great God Allah makes natural grass from the earth, and here is Satan to create artificial grass. And we have many, many examples, but this is the chief copycat, the chief fake, the chief fraud. And again, this is a scapegoating tactic that those that participated in the energy harvesting, the energy theft of humanity are participating in. So beware. Beware if you still have your pure positive life force energy. That means you didn't sell your truth. Did you put your pure positive life force energy into things that created and generated and circulated more pure positive life force energy, things that your heart desired to do, your higher heart desired to do? Or did you do something for the material world? What shall you gain? Well, I'm paraphrasing it. What is it to gain the world but lose your soul? You're trading in something spiritual, that is the only reality, for something physical, which goes back to dust, goes back to the void, etc., etc. That is selling your soul. So if you have not done that, beware of these types of communications that you will be getting. Um, Again, if you are a creator, or if you are someone that has the pure positive life force energy, it has nothing to do with a dollar value. It has nothing to do with a dollar value, a dollar, or anything material. It just means your pure positive life force energy is intact and is needed. Melanin is it's the highest ticket market, the highest ticket item on the black market is melanin. That is pure positive life force energy. And if you have that, beware, because there are a lot of individuals that you see, that you know, that you hear every day, and you watch and you see, they already sold their soul. That means it's Satan's time to collect back, because it was never theirs in the first place. So they have to now be a scout for souls, for pure positive life force energy. And one way to trade that is to give a physical exchange. To give a physical exchange with another. So, again, that's on the record. And praise who? To the great God universal Allah. This is the great God universal Allah's movie. This is the great God Allah's show. Great God universal Allah is the only celebrity, and that is for the divine records of this earth, a new earth, age of Aquarius. Bismillah, finish.